The planet had no name. In official records, it was only a number, a dead world on the edge of explored space. No cities, no signals, no signs of life, just endless gray land and silent skies. Ethan Hale had been sent there alone. He was not a soldier or a hero. He was only a survey worker. His job was simple: land, scan the surface, collect data, and leave. Most missions were boring. Empty planets, empty reports, easy money. This one felt different from the moment he arrived. His ship's systems kept detecting strange energy readings below the ground. The signals were old, older than any known colony. At first, Ethan thought it was a machine buried under the surface, maybe ruins from a lost civilization. But the deeper he scanned, the stranger it became. The energy did not behave like technology. It felt alive. For 2 days, he followed the signal across broken stone fields and deep cracks in the earth. The air was dry. The wind never stopped. Sometimes, Ethan felt like something was watching him, even though the scanners showed nothing. On the 3rd day, he found it. The well stood alone in the middle of a wide crater. Ancient stones circled its edge, worn smooth by time. Symbols were carved into the surface, but they were not in any language his system could translate. The place felt wrong. Not dangerous, just wrong. His suit AI spoke in a calm voice. Unknown structure detected. Biological risk possible. Ethan stepped closer anyway. The well was deeper than it looked. When he leaned over the edge, he could not see the bottom. The darkness inside seemed to move slowly, like liquid shadow. Then he saw the water. It was black, but light shimmered across its surface like stars reflected in deep space. It should have been impossible. There was no light source inside the well. His throat felt dry suddenly. He checked his water supply. Almost empty. The walk back to the ship would take hours. The AI warned him again. Unknown substance. Consumption not recommended. Ethan hesitated. He knew better. Every explorer knew better. Ancient structures meant danger. Unknown liquids meant death. But curiosity was stronger. He lowered a container into the well and pulled it back up. The liquid looked clear now, almost normal. No smell, no movement. He stared at it for a long moment. Then he drank. The change was immediate. Heat spread through his body like fire under his skin. His heart pounded once, hard, then slowed. The world around him became quiet. Too quiet. The wind stopped. Even the sound of his own breathing faded. Ethan dropped to one knee as pain rushed through his chest. His vision blurred. For a moment, he thought he was dying. Then the pain disappeared. He felt stronger, lighter. The ground beneath his hand felt different, as if he could feel vibrations moving through the planet itself. Every sound became clearer, every movement sharper. And then he heard it. Footsteps. Heavy. Slow. Each step made the ground tremble. Ethan turned. At the edge of the crater, something moved. A shadow blocked the pale light of the sky. He stood frozen as the figure stepped forward. It was a woman, but she was enormous, at least 20 feet tall, wearing armor made from dark metal and stone. Her long hair moved with the wind, and her eyes glowed faintly with silver light. She looked ancient, like she belonged to another age. She stared at him in shock. Not anger, not fear, recognition. Ethan tried to speak, but no words came out. The giant woman walked closer, each step shaking the ground. She looked down at him, her expression slowly changing from surprise to something more serious, something worried. Her voice was deep but calm. You drank from the well. Ethan swallowed, still unable to understand what was happening. The woman studied him carefully, as if searching for something inside him. Then her eyes widened slightly. You have no idea what you've become, she said. Ethan turned back toward the well without thinking. The dark water reflected his face, but his eyes were no longer human. A faint silver light burned inside them. Behind him, the giant woman took a slow step back, as if even she was unsure now. And far below the planet's surface, something ancient began to wake. Ethan could still feel the heat inside his body. It did not burn anymore, but it moved through him like slow energy flowing in his veins. Every breath felt deeper. Every sound felt closer. Even the air felt heavier, as if the world itself had changed. Or maybe he had changed. The giant woman watched him carefully. She did not move closer again. Her eyes stayed locked on his face, especially on the faint silver light still glowing in his eyes. "You should be dead," she said quietly. Ethan finally found his voice. "What was that water?" The woman did not answer immediately. She looked at the well instead, her expression filled with something old and painful. "That is not water," she said. "It is memory, power, blood." Ethan frowned, confused. She stepped closer now, slower this time. Long before humans left their world, this planet belonged to the first giants. They were not like us. They were stronger, older. They could shape energy and matter. The well was their source. Ethan tried to stand, but his legs felt strange, too light. When he pushed himself up, he almost lost balance because of his own strength. The woman noticed. "You feel it already," she said. "Your body is changing." Ethan looked at his hands. The small cut on his finger from earlier was gone, completely healed. "That's not possible," he whispered. "It is not," she replied. "Not for a human." Silence filled the crater again. Wind moved across the stones, carrying dust through the air. Ethan looked back at her. "Then why am I alive?" For the first time, the giant woman hesitated. "I don't know." That answer scared him more than anything else. She explained that the well could only be used by the first giants. Their bodies were built to carry its energy. Others who tried had died instantly. The well had been sealed thousands of years ago after a great war. It was never meant to be opened again, she said. Ethan felt a sudden pressure in his chest. Not pain, awareness. He could feel vibrations under the ground, like a distant heartbeat. The giant woman noticed his reaction immediately. "You can feel the planet now, can't you?" Ethan nodded slowly. Her expression darkened. "That means the bond has already started." Before he could ask what that meant, a loud cracking sound echoed across the crater. The stone near Ethan's feet split slightly. He jumped back in shock. "I didn't touch it," he said. "You didn't need to," she answered. "Your emotions are affecting the energy around you." Fear rushed through him again, and the air itself seemed to tremble. The woman raised her hand calmly. "Stop. Breathe slowly." Ethan forced himself to calm down. After a few seconds, the trembling stopped. The cracked stone remained broken. He stared at it, realizing the truth. He had done that. The giant woman turned toward the horizon, thinking deeply. Finally, she spoke again. "My name is Lyra. I'm one of the last guardians of this world. And now, you are a problem I cannot ignore." "That's comforting," Ethan said weakly. Lyra ignored the joke. "Others will feel this change soon. The giants who remain will not see you as innocent. To them, you're a human carrying forbidden power." Ethan's stomach tightened. "And what happens then?" "They will decide if you are a threat." The wind suddenly grew stronger, as if the planet itself reacted to her words. Lyra looked back at him, her voice softer now. "If they believe you cannot control it, they will end your life before the power spreads." Ethan stared at the well one last time. Hours ago, he had been a normal man doing a simple job. Now he was standing on an alien world with power he did not understand, hunted by beings stronger than anything humanity had ever seen. "I didn't ask for this," he said quietly. Lyra's expression softened for a moment. "No one ever does." She turned and gestured toward the distant mountains. "Come with me. There is still a chance to explain before they decide." Ethan followed her, unsure if he had any other choice. Behind them, the ancient well remained silent. But deep beneath the surface, something stirred again, reacting to the same power now flowing through Ethan's veins. And far away, other giants began to feel it too. The journey to the valley took hours. Lyra walked ahead, her long steps slow but powerful. Ethan followed behind, trying to keep pace. The land changed as they moved farther from the crater. The ground became smoother, and strange tall stones appeared, standing like silent watchers. Ethan still felt different. Every step felt too easy. His body moved faster than he expected. More than once, he nearly stumbled because his strength did not match what his mind expected. Even the sound of his own heartbeat felt louder. And beneath everything, he could still feel the planet. A low vibration. Always there. Do all giants feel this? He asked. Lyra nodded without turning. Yes, but not like you. Your connection is unstable. That word stayed in his mind. Unstable. When they finally reached the valley, Ethan understood why she had brought him there. Giant structures rose from the ground, carved directly into the mountains. Bridges connected massive stone towers. Fires burned in large bowls, lighting the area with warm orange light. And giants were everywhere. Some stopped moving when they saw him. Others stared openly. Their expressions were not friendly. Ethan felt small under their gaze, like an outsider who did not belong. Whispers spread quickly. The human. He drank from it. Impossible. Lyra led him into a large open chamber surrounded by tall pillars. Several older giants waited there. Their armor looked older, heavier. Their faces carried authority. The council, Lyra said quietly. One of the elders stepped forward. His voice echoed through the chamber. You carry power that does not belong to your kind. Ethan tried to speak calmly. I didn't know what the well was. That does not change what you have done. The air felt heavy. Ethan's chest tightened. He could feel energy building inside him again, reacting to his emotions. The elder noticed immediately. You see, he cannot control it. The ground trembled slightly beneath Ethan's feet. Lyra stepped forward quickly. He needs training, not execution. Murmurs spread across the chamber. Another elder spoke. If he loses control, this valley could fall. The well was sealed for a reason. Ethan clenched his fists, trying to stay calm. The stone floor cracked slightly under his boots. Everyone saw it. Silence followed. Finally, the first elder raised his hand. There will be a trial. Ethan looked up. A trial? Not of strength, the elder said. Of control. Power without control destroys everything. The trial began the next morning. Ethan was taken to an open field outside the valley. Giant warriors stood around the area, watching carefully. Lyra remained close, though she said nothing. The first test was simple. Stand still. Control breathing. Do nothing. It sounded easy, but it wasn't. Every emotion caused reactions. When Ethan felt nervous, small stones lifted from the ground. When he grew frustrated, the air vibrated around him. Hours passed. Sweat covered his face as he struggled to stay calm. Do not fight the power, Lyra told him quietly. Understand it. The second test was harder. Illusions created by giant technology surrounded him. Sounds of danger. Images of attacks. Fear designed to force a reaction. When a giant warrior suddenly appeared in front of him, Ethan reacted without thinking. Energy burst outward, throwing dust and rocks into the air. The warriors stepped back immediately. The trial stopped. The elders whispered among themselves. Ethan could already see the decision forming in their faces. Failure. That night, Ethan sat alone at the edge of the valley. He stared at his hands, frustrated. I'm going to get killed, aren't I? He said. Lyra stood beside him. Not if you learn fast. He looked at her. Why are you helping me? She hesitated before answering. Because something about this is wrong. The well should have killed you. Instead, it chose you. Before Ethan could reply, the ground suddenly shook. Not from him. A deep pulse moved through the planet, stronger than before. The mountains echoed with a low, ancient sound. Lyra's expression changed instantly. Fear. That's impossible, she whispered. The ground trembled again, stronger this time. Dust fell from the cliffs. Far below, something massive shifted. Ethan felt it clearly now, a presence waking up. The well, he said slowly. Lyra nodded, her voice tense. It was never only a source of power. Another shock wave spread through the valley. The well was a seal. Ethan's stomach dropped. And you, Lyra said, looking at him seriously, may have just opened it. The shaking did not stop. Dust fell from the mountain walls as another deep pulse moved through the ground. The fires across the valley flickered wildly. Giants rushed out of their homes, looking toward the dark horizon. Ethan felt it stronger than anyone else. The presence below the planet felt alive. Heavy, angry. It pressed against his mind like something trying to wake fully after a very long sleep. He dropped to one knee, holding his head. "It can feel me," he whispered. Lyra looked at him sharply. "What do you mean?" "It knows I'm here." Before she could answer, a loud horn echoed across the valley. The council had called everyone together. Giants moved quickly toward the central chamber, their faces tense. Fear was spreading. Inside the chamber, the elders were already arguing. "The seal is breaking." This happened the moment the human drank from the well. "He must be removed before it fully awakens." Ethan stood silently as their voices rose around him. Every word felt like a weight pressing down on his chest. The energy inside him reacted again, the air around him growing warm. Lyra stepped forward. "Killing him will not stop this." The seal was already weakening. One of the elders turned toward her, and yet it broke when he arrived. Another shockwave hit, stronger this time. The ground cracked along the chamber floor. Everyone fell silent. A deep sound followed. Not an explosion, not an earthquake. Something else. Something alive. Ethan felt the vibration travel through his bones. Images flashed in his mind. Shadows. Fire. Giants falling. A war he had never seen, but somehow understood. He gasped for air. Lyra caught him before he fell. "What did you see?" "It destroyed them," Ethan said weakly. "Something hunted the first giants." The elders exchanged worried looks. They knew the truth. One finally spoke, his voice heavy. "The Devourer." The name alone filled the room with dread. Long ago, the first giants had faced an enemy that fed on energy itself. The stronger the giants fought, the stronger the enemy became. In the end, they sealed it deep inside the planet, using the well as the lock. And now the lock was failing. Outside, the sky slowly darkened. Clouds gathered unnaturally fast, swirling above the mountains. "It's waking up," Lyra said. The elder looked at Ethan again, this time not with anger, but fear. "It will come for you first. You carry the power it feeds on." Ethan understood then. Running would not help. Hiding would not save anyone. "This is my fault," he said quietly. Lyra shook her head. "No, the seal was old. This was coming." Another violent tremor shook the valley. In the distance, part of a mountain collapsed, sending stone crashing into the valley below. Panic spread among the younger giants. The elders argued again, some demanding Ethan's death, others unsure. But time was running out. Ethan stood slowly, forcing himself to stay calm. The energy inside him felt wild, reacting to the fear around him. "If it feeds on power," he said, thinking aloud, "then fighting it like before won't work." The chamber grew quiet. "That is how the first giants lost," the elder admitted. Ethan looked at his hands. For the first time since drinking from the well, he stopped seeing the power as a curse. Maybe it was a tool. "What if I don't fight it?" he said. Lyra frowned. "What are you saying? What if I let it come to me?" The elders reacted immediately. "That would kill you." "Maybe," Ethan said. "But if it wants this power, then I'm the only one who can control where it goes." Outside, the ground suddenly split open far beyond the valley. A massive wave of dark energy rose into the sky like smoke. The Devourer was emerging. The air turned cold. Light faded. Even the wind stopped moving. Lyra stepped closer to Ethan, her voice low. "You don't understand what you're facing." Ethan looked toward the rising darkness, fear still in his chest, but now mixed with determination. "No," he said quietly, "but I understand one thing." He took a slow breath, calming the energy inside him. "If I run, everyone dies." The shadow in the distance grew larger, spreading across the sky like night itself. For the first time in thousands of years, the enemy of the giants had returned, and it was coming straight for him. The sky turned completely dark. The massive shadow rising from the broken earth moved slowly, like smoke with weight. Lightning flashed inside it, silent and cold. The air itself felt heavy, making it hard to breathe. The giants stood at the edge of the valley, weapons ready, but none of them moved forward. They remembered the stories. They knew what happened the last time this enemy appeared. Power only made it stronger. Ethan stepped ahead alone. Every instinct told him to run. The presence of the Devourer pressed against his mind, searching, hungry. It could feel the energy inside him. It wanted it. Lyra followed a few steps behind. You still have time to leave, she said quietly. Ethan shook his head. If I leave, it follows me. And then it finds other worlds. She knew he was right. The ground trembled as the dark mass stretched higher into the sky. Shapes formed inside it. Faces, shadows, broken memories of the giants it had consumed long ago. Ethan felt fear rising again. The energy inside him reacted instantly. The air around him shimmered. He stopped. He remembered the trial, the failure, the moment everything broke because he tried to fight the power. Lyra's voice echoed in his memory. Do not fight it. Understand it. Ethan closed his eyes. He slowed his breathing. The fear did not disappear, but he stopped resisting it. The energy inside him settled, flowing instead of exploding. For the first time, it felt calm. The devourer moved closer. Dark tendrils reached toward him, testing, curious. The giants behind him tensed, ready to attack, but Lyra raised her hand to stop them. Wait, she said. Ethan opened his eyes. The silver light inside them burned brighter now, but it was steady. You want power, he said softly, looking at the shadow. Then take it. The darkness rushed forward. Lyra shouted his name, but Ethan did not move. The shadow wrapped around him, swallowing him completely. From the outside, he disappeared inside the storm of energy. The giants watched in silence. Seconds passed. Then the ground began to shake again, but differently this time. Inside the darkness, Ethan felt memories that were not his own. Fear, loss. The last moments of the first giants as they failed to stop this thing. The devourer fed on resistance, on fear, on force. So Ethan did something the giants had never tried. He stopped fighting. Instead of pushing back, he let the energy flow through him. Human instinct, adaptation, survival, change. He accepted the power instead of controlling it. The devourer slowed, confused. The energy it consumed no longer fought against it. It had nothing to feed on. The silver light spread outward from Ethan's body, calm and steady. The darkness around him began to break apart, losing shape, losing strength. For the first time, the devourer weakened. A deep sound echoed across the valley as the shadow collapsed inward, dissolving into a harmless light that faded into the sky. Silence returned. The clouds slowly cleared. Light touched the mountains again. Ethan fell to the ground, breathing hard. The silver glow in his eyes faded, but did not disappear completely. Lyra ran to him, kneeling beside him carefully. Ethan, can you hear me? He nodded weakly. Yeah, I think so. The other giants approached slowly, their expressions no longer filled with fear, only surprise. The elder who once demanded his death stepped forward. The first giants believed power meant domination, he said quietly. You proved them wrong. Ethan looked at his hands. He still felt the connection to the planet, but now it was peaceful, balanced. What happens now, he asked. Lyra looked toward the distant well, then back at him. The well did not change you, she said softly. It revealed what your kind can become. Ethan smiled faintly. And what is that? Lyra's expression softened. A species that survives by changing. Far beneath the planet's surface, the last traces of the ancient enemy faded away. But somewhere in the vast universe, other ancient wells still waited, silent, forgotten, and untouched. And Ethan knew, somehow, that his story was only beginning.